I really enjoyed the movie. I was looking forward to it. I love the stuff that you showed at WonderCon.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, this looks like a cool movie.
Yeah.
I've never been a huge disaster movie fan.
Me neither.
But this isn't really a disaster movie.
I agree. I never really set out to make a disaster
Right.
movie. You know, I wanted to make a good movie, and I wanted to make a movie that, you know, was going to carve out its own place in the summer of 2015, where there are so many big movies. But I was never really focused on just making a disaster movie. And my favorite quote-unquote disaster movie, people don't even really consider a disaster movie, which was Titanic. So, you know, I think that's a disaster movie in the sense that it's like obviously a big traumatic event, but what you take away from that movie is the emotional experience, you know, the love story. You do get the sense of scale and, you know, all of those things and the epic nature of the events, but you really care about the people, and that's what the story is about. And so, you know, if that's your touchstone for a disaster movie, when you go to make a movie that's like that, you go about it in a similar way, where I wanted to make a movie about people that I really cared about, that you know, was about a family that was basically trying to put itself back together, and then that's all amidst this big disaster, this big event. But the movie's not about the event. The movie is about the people, and the event's what kind of causes it to happen.
How they survived, how these characters survived in this event.
How they survive and how they put themselves back together as a family, really. And the catalyst is actually the event. And, you know, the movie is really about perseverance, and the point of it is that bad things happen in real life, you know. People get hurt, people get lost, you lose loved ones, and the idea is that, you know, none of us are untouchable by that. Like, things are going to happen in our lives, and the most important thing is really focusing on, once a bad thing does happen, how do you get past it? How do you pick yourself back up? And for me, it was, you know, as much a reminder to myself as it was the message to the audience of the most important thing in life is, you know, not the car you drive and not the sneakers that you just bought, because I buy incredibly ridiculously expensive sneakers, but it's about the people that you love and the people you care about, and how when you do get knocked down, those people will help you back up. And they'll help you persevere through any traumatic event, whether it's a natural disaster or not. And so, you know, to me, the movie is hopefully a richer experience than just most disaster movies are, because I didn't set out just to make stuff blowing up and destroying.
So you mentioned that the characters are really important. You know, obviously, if the characters work, then everything else is going to work too.
Yeah.
What did you see in the script? What did you like about these characters that you said, this is a guy I want to spend 2 hours with, this is a woman, a young girl I want to spend time with, and what did you want to explore with their characters?
Well, you know, what I look for in my lead characters, honestly, is either an internal conflict or a flaw or something that is dramatic that's within them that they're struggling with. I made 2 movies last year, San Andreas and Incarnate, and both of those have lead characters who are damaged, who are struggling to deal with events in their past. And with this movie in particular, what I loved about Ray Gaines was that he was a guy that had never really dealt with the trauma of the death of a loved one, and especially because he feels guilty for that death, that happened on his watch, and that he's a first responder by trade. He rescues people, and that's his job, and he's amazing at his job. He's the best. He's got this amazing reputation, and yet he couldn't save his own daughter, and this haunts him. And what I loved about the writing was that it wasn't overt as you're watching the movie. It wasn't like scene 1, here's this guy. It was, here's Dwayne Johnson, he's a hero, he's great. And as you peel back the layers of who this character was and is, you go, oh, there's something more going on here. There's something really missing. Like, and the first thing, and it was a little nerve-wracking when we were shooting it, but the first time you ever see that there were 2 daughters is in these photographs. But we've never even mentioned a second daughter. He calls his daughter, who he's going to go see at his ex-wife's new boyfriend's place, and then you're seeing photographs and there's 2 daughters and you don't even mention it. And so it's this slow thing that comes out of, oh my God, there was a second daughter and this happened. And so it was really intriguing to me and a very satisfying exercise in a character study and, you know, filmmaking to build a character with Dwayne that was flawed and had issues that he had to overcome. It was very blue collar and very grounded, and I really love working with Dwayne, and I think he's like a really natural hero in a lot of ways. But what I loved about this character was there was a complexity to him. There was a certain grounded aspect to him, and Dwayne can kind of do no wrong. He can play as big as over-the-top characters as Hercules and Hobbs, and I also know that he can play this, but I hadn't seen him do it. So I was really excited because I was like, no one's seen this out of Dwayne, and I know he has amazing acting chops, and I want to see that. I want to see this guy, overcome these like big traumatic events. It just makes his character so interesting because he's kind of like amazing but yet damaged.
Yeah, well, let me ask you that because this is your second time working with Dwayne, and I think you hit on something. I mean, he's pretty remarkable.
Sure.
I mean, not just.
You mean in real life?
The whole thing. I mean,
the whole thing.
Not only is he obviously a great human being and just a super nice guy.
Yeah.
I've met him many times. We know that. But then if you take obviously the hard work and the physical and everything through football and through professional wrestling, but then to be able to then make that into an acting career.
Yeah.
And not only be successful, but be like the most successful at it.
Yeah.
And not only be sort of that, new millennium Arnold.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
But also The Rock can act. Arnold couldn't act. The
Right.
Rock can really bring some. I've seen him do it in certain films. So he really is the total package in a ridiculous way.
Yeah, but
As a director, what is it that you enjoy about working with him as an actor?
Well, I think he is everything you're saying. He's amazing and has a very rich history. I like working with him because he has the same goal as me, which is just to make the best movie that we can make. And he is all about communication. He's all about hard work. He's all about, putting the time into getting it right. And he faces challenges head on. Some people shrink in those moments. Some people say, "This is the best I can do. Get away. That's it. That's all you're going to get out of me." I've seen it all. Like at this point now, I've done 4 movies. I've seen like this range of very talented people accept, push off, whatever the challenges in front of them. The reason I think you're seeing all this about Dwayne is that I literally have never seen him do that. I've never seen him push off a challenge. He likes it. It helps him rise to the occasion if you're straightforward with him in the sense of like, if this is this scene's amazing. And then if he hears that, he's like, then we're making the scene amazing. Because he knows you have a clear vision for it. You're going to be there for him to help him. He's going to be there to help you. And so our collaboration, though obviously there's a lot of trust, there's also a shared vocabulary in terms of succeeding and stepping up and moving your career to the next place. And I look at every movie as that. How do I move my career to the next place? How do I do something bigger and better and obviously more sophisticated and all of those things. So I think to get back to your question, which is just that, what's it like for me working with him? I have a level of trust with him that I don't have with any other actor, especially of his caliber. We have a similar work ethic and I think of kind of a blue collar background. So we both don't take this stuff for granted. We're not here to kind of like screw off and just party all this away. We want to do something, want to leave something behind, which is great movies or great performances or whatever it is. And I just think we're pretty honest with each other. We're so different in a lot. He's so extrovert, I'm so introvert. He's so big, I'm so little. He's so bald, I have hair-ish. Anyway, but
I know where you're going with that.